So today I set this grapple bucket up for broad forking the beds. So what I had to do is I had to take out the two on either side outside teeth out of the bucket, which is just this. You slide them in from the front and then you impact these on, which pulls them in to the bucket so they stay in there. But so our beds are 30 inches wide, and if I measure this is about 34 inches between those two. I also had to take the grapple part off, which is here with the cylinders and everything, because when that opens up, that doesn't allow these teeth to go down into the ground like we want it. I have the old broad fork out there, and I'll show you what we actually used to do, but it's really time consuming, and this gets a lot deeper into the ground, so you can break up that hard pan and let the roots like carrots and stuff like that can get down in deeper. The rototiller usually only tills about 6 or 8 inches deep, so this actually goes down deeper and breaks up that hard pan down below, so your carrots and stuff can grow down into there and send the roots down in to pull the nutrients out of the layers, the lower layers of the soil. So this is a broad fork. It's got the tines on it. It's got 4 tines, and the idea behind it is to loosen up the soil. So you go ahead, you work it into the soil. Our ground is there's a lot of clay in it, and you just loosen it up like that until it cracks. And then you bring it back, you work it in, and bend it back. And what we're doing is we're just loosening those lower layers without actually tilling really deep, because when you till, I can't break this up even with the tiller, because a tiller, like I said, only goes about 6 inches deep. And right now that the beds are kind of established, we don't really want to go that deep because it's going to bring up old weed seeds. So that's why now I have the tiller set really shallow, so it only really tills the first 2 inches of the soil, and that's where your weed seeds are going to germinate in the first 2 inches of the soil. So if you only till the first 2 inches, you don't bring up more seeds. So this will loosen it up really good. You can see these beds here, I kind of went through with the skid steer. It's a lot quicker. You can see how that took me, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes, a minute and a half to do those. Where I'll show you how I do it with the skid steer now. So you could kind of see that didn't take very long to do that whole bed. You know, to do a whole bed is probably about 25 minutes with the broad fork. That probably took me 4 or 5 minutes, if that. And you know, the skid steer can just idle and do it, so I'm not burning a ton of fuel. So I'm justifying the time saving with the amount of fuel that I'll burn by doing it. And um, so I can justify using the fuel. The diesel doesn't burn quite as much. And like I said, it's not working the machine very hard, so I can just idle it and just keep going. And it saves a lot of wear and tear on me, and it gets me done with this quicker so I can go on. And now what I'll have to do is I'll shallow till this really quick. I'll go ahead, put my soil amendments on that we need to put on. I'll put my little bit of fertilizer, and then I'll till that in one last time, just the last 2 inches there, and then we can go ahead and seed it. So, you know, what used to take me, like, to do a 100-foot bed, we have our sections here are 100 feet long by 100 feet wide, and there's 22 beds 30 inches wide in those. So in order for me to do 22 beds, it would probably take me at least all day, if not a little bit longer, to do a whole section, where now I can just keep going on it, you know. So anyway, maybe we'll show you more on how when we get to tilling it, but I'm gonna finish doing the rest of these beds up, and we got to get some carrots planted today. So that's what really works really good, when you can get down that deep. You don't end up with them little stubby carrots. The carrots can go down really deep through this because it's not packed down. We had before, I always try to broad fork the beds that we have carrots in, because a couple years ago, you know, you think you're going to get some nice big carrots because it's all nice and smooth, but by the time you rototill it, that packs that the subsoil, you only got about 6 inches, and with the rain packing it down, your carrots hit that hard pan and they don't go any further. They just get kind of fat, or they'll split out. So this way they can grow nice and straight and